The store owners and employees are pretty shaken up by a car smashing straight into this building where traffic has been a mess. Now I'm going to have my photographer pan over here to the southbound lane. Take a look. You can see crews right now removing this truck from under the bridge. Also, all types of blood types are needed. And if you cannot make it down here today, what they're going to do is come to your door. They're going to knock. And if you're not home, what they're going to do is put these pamphlets, like you see here, in your door. The 3 people that were hit by a car here on District Avenue and Bond Street was a family in town for UVA weekend. Now this is brand new. I just found out that the person who died was the mother of the family. Robin Bryant says all she wants is for her son's killer to rot in jail. She says when it comes to the investigation, it's not the police who's doing the work. She says she's the one who's fighting for justice. In the last hour, a lot of people have been coming here to the park. They're here to celebrate. These bikes are intense, and just like her cancer, every day Janie kicks it right in the derriere. Well guys, it's senior walk here at Carysbrook Elementary, and students are lined up so they can see high schoolers walk the hallway. But get this guys, the seniors aren't here just to show off their gowns. They're here to deliver one message. Well, Tara and Sefe, the tension was so thick in this park that you can cut it with a knife. Now, our city leaders were here today to express their reasonings behind this statue being removed, and not everyone was happy. Once all these procedures are put into place, all VDOT is going to do is grab a cone like you see here, move it out of the way, and tell drivers to come on through. In my hand is a letter from a company called Pure Environmental. They told me that they did an inspection inside of this apartment, and the regional manager told me what he found was disgusting. For Vincent Waldhauser, living inside his apartment is like living in a nightmare. Bed bugs have invaded his home, and he says the leasing company isn't doing enough to solve the problem.
Their neglect to tell me that they're even inspecting anything. It's just wrong. Everything about it is wrong and disgusting and immoral.
And it looks like they're going all the way down there now.
We first aired his story on Thursday when he found himself covered in these red, itchy bug bites.
All the way up my back.
Vincent hired a company called Pure Environmental to do a bed bug inspection. They said the colony is at least 2 months old, and they recommend the entire property be inspected for bed bugs. On Saturday, Interstate came to the unit to do a heat treatment, but Vincent fears the bugs will come back and that the apartment managers have become unresponsive.
Erica Allen's not doing her job. She assures me that she tagged my door, but I've asked several other people in the apartment complex if they got notices, and they said they hadn't as well.
So we took a trip to Real Property Inc. off Rose Hill Drive to see what the leasing office had to say about all this. And this is what they told me.
Any of the people that would have anything to say about it are not in the office at the moment, so.
Okay.
Would you like to leave a message?
Yeah. So far, no one has called me back. And for now, Vincent says he plans to get a lawyer.
Basically, I'm trying to take them to court because this is wrong for what they're doing to the other people in the apartment complex. Like, I'm going to be scarred for the rest of my life, probably. All over my, these bug bites don't go away. I mean,
Vincent says he has not gone back inside of this apartment. He says he's just couch bumming until he finds a place to stay. Reporting in Charlottesville, Jasmin Caldwell, CBS 19 News. In the last few days, the issue behind removing the Robert E. Lee monument has grown tremendously.
Anytime somebody finds something offensive, it's opportunity to have it removed from society.
City Council members Wes Bellamy and Kristen Sakos fully support the idea of removing the statue as well as renaming Lee Park.
History that we honor through statues and memorials needs to be a history that speaks for what we believe in. And in this case, these statues don't.
We unified this country.
Some say removing the statue is removing history, but Charlottesville's vice mayor feels differently.
Charlottesville is a city that has a great deal of history. Charlottesville is also a city that is moving forward. And as we move forward, in my position, civil rights, as well as the opportunity to make everyone feel included, trumps history.
Many supporters felt the discussion was one-sided because they didn't get the chance to speak.
Wes Bellamy, are you going to allow an opposing point of view?
This was a rigged job. There should have been opposing points of view, respectful. When people can't have an opposing, respectful conversation, then that's all that's left to us, is to holler above the speakers because we are not allowed to speak ourselves.
Governor Terry McAuliffe vetoed a bill that would have stopped local governments from removing Confederate monuments, leaving the decision to remove them up to City Council.
You know, this is a period at which we really have an option to make this decision. State law is now clearer than it had been, and so, you know, people have really been calling on us, you know, to make a decision.
The goal of this campaign is to get people to think move over when they see flashing red, yellow, and blue lights. Now, I decided to follow alongside emergency crews to see if people are really following the law. When it comes to saving lives,
Understood. I'm going to come in from Barrett's Road, the intersection.
time is of the essence, and when you see flashing lights, you need to move over because it's the law.
When we have our lights and sirens on, that's usually because we need to get to a call quickly. And so if there's a lot of traffic in our way, what it does is it slows us down. So if your family member has to call 911, you're going to want people to get out of the way so that we can get there as fast as we can.
Virginia law requires drivers to move over a lane when passing emergency personnel. Tow truck drivers are highway workers displaying flashing lights, and if drivers are unable to move over.
The best thing to do for drivers, though, is to try and move over to the right or the left, opposite the side of the ambulance, so that the ambulance can get through.
So what do you do when you are at an intersection and it's hard for you to move?
So a lot of times what we see is drivers actually see the lights and sirens and they react very quickly and just try and get to an open spot, when we actually might be trying to get the ambulance to an open spot. So if you see that there's a lane open, try and stay in the current lane, and that way we can bring the ambulance through that open lane.
Safety is a big concern, not just for you or a patient, but also for emergency drivers.
You see the white light that's flashing? That's the Opticom system.
The Opticom system allows emergency personnel to change the light green and move through intersections more quickly. Thankfully, in Charlottesville, drivers are abiding by the law, but sometimes it can get frustrating when people don't.
A lot of times on single lane roads, people will try and race ahead of us, but the best idea for them is to try and pull over into a driveway, something like that, safely so that we can pass around them.
Statistics show between 2005 and 2014, 134 law enforcement officials were struck and killed while on duty. Reporting in Charlottesville, Jasmin Caldwell, CBS 19 News.